Hello, my name is Taylor Wright, and I'm here to tell you about an education case study. Have you ever seen or read a case study that doesn't have to do with bullying? Most people only see this as a problem in schools, but often after reading this case study, I hope it brightens your views on other problems we have in schools today. Not only are there problems out there, but also solutions to these problems as well. According to Betsy from Classroom Cadoodle, Elementary Classroom Discipline Case Studies, there was a certain study that Jake, a classroom student, was feeling bad about himself with a bad label because he was a little bit bigger than the average class kid in his classroom. The reason he was a little bit bigger was because he was retained once in the past. This teacher started to help him in a way he didn't notice until several weeks had passed by, or at least several weeks into the case study. The teacher started to ask Jake to do things she couldn't do. Things such as, Jake, could you get an item off the top of the shelf for me, please? Jake, could you move a desk to the hallway for another student, please? He started to not feel so bad about himself no longer. The solution to this case study was that by the teacher asking Jake these several things, his confidence level raised so high, much higher than it started before the study ever started. Several other ideas the teacher would ask Jake was to wipe the top of the board off that other students could not reach, or to unjam the classroom door when it became jammed, because it happened quite often. Jake started to notice he was such a big help around the classroom. He knew in his mind there was a purpose for him in this classroom, and he started to think more positive of himself. He knew that he was beneficial with his size, but not in a bad or good way, just whatever Jake was feeling that day. Some teachers come to think that asking students to do something for them is better than physically doing them a favor itself. Another important thing about Jake was he was very, very good at math problems, one of the top math students in his classroom. He had a special way of explaining the math problems differently than the teacher had proposed. But in this way, any student he could help, he could, in a suitable way for them, whatever child he came encountered with. Often students were struggling, and the teacher would put Jake one-on-one with the different kids who were struggling in the subject as well. It became a new big help inside the special classroom. His confidence level raised so high his very own math scores raised up, and I mean skyrocketed up. Not only did Jake's score skyrocket, but his friends that he helped along the way did too. Too many times in a classroom of students does children not fit in. This was once Jake 3 short weeks ago. I'm here to tell you today, Jake's confidence level is so high and fits right in with his classmates. Jake now loves coming to school to be with his friends and to help his teacher out, of course. Jake says that something so awful can turn into such a big rest of the school year, with a little nudge on the back. So a solution to this specific case study was that the teacher would ask Jake to do such small things, but such big favors in Jake's eyes. Who knew something so simple could make such an impact on someone's life? These small solutions really helped open Jake's confidence. Do you ever see this happen in schools? So, like I mentioned before, this whole case study took 3 whole weeks. To me, that's not a lot of time for something like this, but with a great teacher like Jake had, she was there and helped him along the way to fix his problems. In the education case studies, you can see many times hard cases come about. In this study with Jake, he just couldn't simply fit in. We mostly see that in schools nowadays. We often see kids not being able to fit in most schools. And these schools don't just have to be public schools, although Jake did attend a public school himself. With this school year, Jake has went above and beyond since the start of this study. Just over the past couple of months, over these months after the case study, Jake's teacher started to ask Jake these questions less often, but still enough to make him realize that he was still beneficial no matter what size you are. Other kids wanted to be Jake's friend. They said he was such a positive impact. Not only was Jake a positive impact on his classroom, but the whole entire school, and everyone started to notice. They wanted to be just like Jake. Who knew that changing after just a short few weeks and a month after, everyone would want to be that way? Not only did Jake have such a good attitude in the classroom, his attitude spread all over the school. Jake was very blessed with his teacher this year, and I'm here to tell you Jake has more confidence now than he has ever had before. I hope this broadened your views on problems in the public schools nowadays. Thank you.